Hallo, welkom weer so by Farmboek. Ons is besig met ons 5de video oor ons Pioneer reeks saam met Bob Nielsen. En ons praat 'n bietjie oor die eerste wortelontwikkeling of ja, wortelontwikkeling in die eerste gedeelte van die plant. So kom ons luister 'n bietjie wat sê hy.
I was going to go on to say, relative to back to roots, that up until the point, and I think I may have already said this, up until you get to about that 3-leaf collar stage, the young plant is surviving primarily on the energy reserves of the endosperm and the seed. And around that 3-leaf stage is when a young corn plant will typically be running out of endosperm reserves. And fortunately, the first and second ring of nodal roots has begun to develop. And it's hard to, I can't. Let's look at the split one, Emil. So when you split an older corn stalk, you can see that there's not just one set of permanent roots, there's several, and they're emerging from the nodes of the stalk, or the stalk joints is the vernacular term, or the stalk nodes. And on this plant, there's if I'm counting correctly, there might be 6 different nodes of roots. And of course, they emerge in a circle right around the stalk. And the lowermost ones that are really thin on this plant, really small and thin, those are the first ones to come out. And at that very first node, there's usually 4 around the circumference of that stalk, only 4. And pretty much the number 2 is also 4 roots that come out. As you go up the plant, and of course the plant gets bigger, the circumference gets bigger. By the time you get up to this, I think this is the number 6, on this half of the plant there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this half of the plant. So potentially there were 10 on this node, whereas at the very first node there's only 4. So when I talk about that stand establishment going up to about knee high, we're trying to get these first few sets of roots developing strongly. The number 1, the number 2, the number 3, the number 4, and the number 5 by the time we get to the 6th leaf stage. We're trying to get those out. We're trying to get them growing well. We're trying to get them initially beginning to grow deep if we can. And if we can do that successfully, by the time it's knee high, boy, it's going to be this thriving dark green, ready to hit that rapid growth phase and just take off. But if cold weather, dry soil, wet soil, soil-borne insects, soil-borne diseases, if any of those are impacting the initial development of these young roots, then by the time it gets to that 6th leaf stage, it's going to be the straggly, runt, bad-looking, uneven, yellow-green, terrible crop that is not resilient enough to withstand what's going to come the rest of the season. All right.
Look, just for one question for that.
Go ahead.
What happens if you put in pop-up on that tip there?
Yeah.
So dit is dit vir daai eerste stukkie van die wortelontwikkeling. Volgende video kyk uit, ons 6de video in ons reeks. En dit gaan meer hoofsaaklik oor die verskil tussen pop-up en bandplaas. Dit is nogal 'n interessante enetjie gewees. So kyk uit vir hom. Ons praat weer. Groete.